Now, it's a heartbreaking story, but last month, 59-year-old Yvonne Ford tragically died from rabies after a puppy scratched her while on holiday in Morocco.
Yvonne showed no symptoms for 4 months, but when signs appeared, it was too late. Within weeks, she sadly passed away.
Today, in the hope of raising awareness, we're joined by Yvonne's family, her husband Ron, and children Robin and Adam, alongside Dr. Nagat. Thanks for joining us. So sorry to be meeting you under these circumstances. You're here to raise awareness, and, you know, that's exactly what we want to do today. Could you take us back to... You were in Morocco and you were on holiday. Tell us a little bit about that trip and what happened.
Well, basically, it's we go away quite a lot. We went to Morocco for a winter break, had a great time. 2 days before we came home, we were on the beach outside the hotel, and there was lots of dogs running about everywhere, and there was a puppy actually underneath the sunbed of Yvonne's. She put her leg down, it startled the dog, and it just scratched her. It didn't bleed, it didn't really mark her. So I asked her, you know, shall we go see somebody? And she basically says, well, it's not bled, so yeah. You're unaware, you don't know. It's so that was the second to last day of the holiday. No illness, no nothing. Fantastic. Went home. A month later, still nothing, no symptoms whatsoever.
And you've been on a few other trips. You went to Florida.
Yeah, right? In May we went to Florida. In fact, on the 21st of Florida, she was dancing round a pole in Epcot with your granddaughter.
Sorry, Ron.
It's all right.
Take a minute, Ron. So when, and this is to anyone that can answer, when did the symptoms first arise?
So we come back from Florida on the 23rd of May. The following week, my dad and my mum went to York on a little fishing trip in the camper van.
Yeah.
And on the Saturday, my mum started with a horrendous headache, unbearable headache, to the point where she couldn't sleep at all. The Monday after that, my dad had taken her to A&E because the headache was so severe. On the Monday, she went into hospital walking, talking, doing everything. And come the Friday, she couldn't walk, talk, swallow. She had a fear of water. She was horrendously hallucinating beyond what we could even imagine. She just deteriorated within 5 days.
And Robin, I know these... Thank you, Adam and Robin. I know these questions are so hard to answer, but I know you wanted to be here to raise awareness. I think the thing, when we were talking about it earlier on, that shocked us was, in your head, you think, to start with, you think, oh, you have to get bitten. And then, so firstly, it's so innocuous what happened to her. And then the time lag between her getting scratched and the symptoms feels so long.
Well, apparently it can last up to 2 years in your body.
Right.
Before it starts showing any symptoms.
And everyone pets an animal on holiday. Can we just bring in Dr. Nagat? I mean, that's the thing that, like I said, that shocked us. So what are the stats? What normally happens between someone being bitten or saliva or blood, getting the blood in the system or whatever, and then getting symptoms?
The interesting thing is that incubates for a very long time, as Ron said, up to 2 years. On average, we know it's between 3 to 12 weeks it can incubate, but it can be months, even years longer than that. It's a zoonotic virus, and it causes inflammation of the spinal cord and the brain. And that inflammation can be really innocuous. With this case, with Yvonne, she didn't even get a scratch. I mean, I was talking to Robin earlier. She said there was nothing on the skin, but the bugs get into the skin, and that's why it's so important to make sure that you get help and seek help as soon as you possibly can. But if you're not thinking about it, as you said earlier, and you're not making the connections between the dots, this is why raising this awareness is vitally important.
Yeah. And is there such thing as protection? Because, like you say, it's not something that you would expect. When it arrives, there's quite literally nothing you can then do. How do you protect yourself before perhaps going on that holiday?
So immediately before you go on holiday, there is actually a rabies vaccine that we can give. It's available privately for travel. So we know that there are 59,000 cases of rabies or deaths across the world in 150 countries. So places like Morocco, Asia, Africa, North Africa. The world has become such a small place now that we don't think about it because we've managed to eradicate it in Europe. But people are traveling all over the world. If you have a scratch, the most immediate thing is to wash it with soap and water, clean the wound as much as you possibly can. And it's not always just a scratch that we get from kittens or dogs or bats, etc. It could even be licking of the nose and the mucosal tissue, so your tongue, your lips, your nose, your eyes. So wash all of that out. And then there is post-exposure treatment that you can be given as well. The most important thing is thinking about it and then getting the treatment, ideally washing and cleaning, but within minutes or hours or as soon as possible. But if you know that you're going to be in a place where immediate treatment might not be available, so India, Pakistan, North Africa, wherever you might be going, then it's really important to make sure that you think about getting that rabies vaccine.
Yeah, the vaccines to start with I mean, it's not even that, I've had it, it's not even that much, is it? And it lasts for quite a while, does it?
It lasts for a very long time, and there are 2 boosters as well. So you get one and you get a booster, and then afterwards you can, many years later, get a booster as well. But I think the most important thing when I was talking to Robin, Ron and Adam was the fact that we don't think about it in Europe. We could be going out and our children will pet animals. My 7-year-old, if we go on holiday, in fact, I was just saying to them earlier, I went to Morocco as well. And my 7-year-old will be very much out there as children. And children don't tell their their parents that they might have had a scratch or a bite.
Of course, when they're playing.
Exactly. And the thing is, it incubates so well. And then the symptoms of this headache that comes, these flu-like symptoms, hallucination, and then almost this spasming of the throat that can happen because you fear of swallowing. You find it really difficult to swallow. So it's known as hydrophobia. It's not that you're fear of water, but just the swallowing mechanism. But that, unfortunately, that is fatal, and there is no cure past that.
Guys, thanks so much for coming in, because you're in the fog of grief at the moment, and I know you need to channel that grief somewhere, and you're doing it so bravely with us. What's the one message you would like to send to anyone who is thinking about going to that part of the world for a holiday they should enjoy and and a culture they should dive into? So what's the one thing you'd say to them?
Just check the recommendations from the government. I mean, Morocco was only recommended for rabies. It's not you have to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more of just check. We don't want the people to go through what we've gone through. Seeing your mum deteriorate in 7 days like that, we don't want anybody to see that ever again. So if we can just get the awareness out, just check. Contact your doctor, get the injections. That's all we want. Awareness. 30 years ago, it was on every telly.
I remember it, yeah.
You're so right.
So our generation are aware of it. My children aren't aware of it, and their children will not be aware of it. So we're just trying to re-bring out all the information.
Since we've put it out on Facebook to raise awareness, we have had people messages saying that they've been abroad, they've had scratches from cats and dogs, and they've then gone to get the vaccine. So I feel like we are doing something, we're making a little bit of a change, and then if we can do that for one family, then we've made a difference.
You're honestly incredible, all of you, just for being here, for, raising awareness. Incredible.
Don't forget as well, the World Cup's in Morocco in 2030.
That's right.
So anybody that's going, just beware.
Get your jab done. Thank you so much.
Well done, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, I'd been to a very inspiring meeting because I sit on the UK Athletics Board, and on my way back home, they actually put me on a train, and I wasn't alerted that the disabled access toilet was out of order. So as you do when you're traveling, when you're getting on board, you sort of don't start looking for toilets to see whether they're, they're working.
No. And I wonder if the other toilet had have been out of operation, would that train have been allowed to run? Do you know?
I sort of don't think that they would have allowed a train to run without any sort of toilet.
Yeah.
So nobody told you when you got on board there's no disabled toilet. So then you eventually think, right, I need to go to the loo. You find the disabled toilet is out of order? What did you do then, and who helped you?
I definitely had to alert the authorities. You know, I say to them, hey, this is going to be a very long journey for me, and I need to relieve myself. The lady who was in charge of the train was very helpful. She suggested that they take me off at one of the stations so that I could use the toilet, and then put me on board so that we could proceed with the journey. But the unfortunate thing is, when we got to that particular station, there was nobody, there was no staff on the station to help me. Then, unfortunately, I had the accident.
Did you just... oh, that must... Oh, Anne, it's so awful for you.
And did
So
you say
literally just
embarrassing?
thought, I just have to just go, and you just have to work yourself.
Do you know, but as a human being, you know, and as a mother, as a, you know, as a grown woman, you sort of just don't decide to do it.
No.
I'm not 2 years old. I'm not a toddler. You sort of... I tried to hold as long as I could, and I just couldn't anymore.
Well, across country trains, they say clearly the circumstances of Mrs. Strike's journey were unacceptable. We would like to apologise to her for that. This is the first time, they say, we're aware of such a situation ever happening on one of our trains, and we're still investigating how our procedures for caring for a customer in a wheelchair could have failed so terribly. We are determined to learn from these events to ensure our wheelchair customers receive the quality service they expect when travelling by train. What's your advice to them?
I think my advice to them is they really need to look at how they treat their disabled people. And actually they're wrong, because this is not the first case. I am not the first case. Since I've spoken up, so many people with disabilities have come up and they've shared these horror stories of what they've gone through. You know, we are being robbed of our dignity.
Did they not say that they would, at the other end of your journey, because there you're sitting in wet clothes, very embarrassingly, very uncomfortable, I'm sure, that they were going to get you a car at the other, when you got to your destination? Was that car there?
They promised to get me a taxi waiting, as you know, when I got to the other side, but unfortunately that was not the case.
How did this affect you? I mean, so embarrassing on the train, but what about afterwards? How long did that stay with you?
Do you know, I covered myself with a hoodie because I was so embarrassed in case someone that knew me, you know, could identify and sort of say, oh, Anne, what's the matter? It embarrassed me. I used perfume to disguise the smell.
Yeah.
That is not what should be happening in this day and age. I got home, I was crying, you know, I was sobbing. I had a shower and I just flung myself on the bed and cried for a long time.
Yeah. We're talking about, we would love to think this was some sort of one-off incident. It could never possibly happen to anyone else again. Unfortunately, we don't think so. This was you out shopping yesterday, and just talk us through just daily things that, you know, most people wouldn't begin to think about. What are you experiencing here?
This is what happens, you know, this is supposed to be a ramp, but you can see how steep it is.
Yes.
You know, when you are in a wheelchair, you just want to go on with your everyday life. You want to be able to do things, but it's not the case, you know.
You're strong. I mean, you're an athlete.
Now, this is a shop door we're looking at here.
This is a door, you know, we are talking of access. I should just be able to go in and, you know, just
Could I ask you a question? Many, many years ago, in the early 1980s, I went to help a lady in a wheelchair through a door, and she shouted at me. She turned and she snapped at me, and it really affected me. I thought, oh, what is the protocol? What is the procedure? What is, when you're trying to be helpful and sometimes people want to seem independent, what's the guidance?
I think the best thing is to ask whether they need a hand, you know.
They'd like a hand.
Whether they would like that support, because I think you'll sort of realize that the majority of people with disabilities, they don't want sympathy, they want opportunity, and that's what we are constantly crying of. So I think maybe the best thing is for you to sort of ask whether, would you like me to help you? Do you want any assistance? And that is the best way to go about it.
I had, if ever I had an education in this, was this year when I had the 2 hips replaced. And for a brief period, I was in a wheelchair on crutches, and you see the world in a completely different way. Completely different way. You see it from your view, from your level, and you see the hurdles there are out there, so many of them.
Do you know, like, you know, when we talk of accessibility, you know, the shop and restaurant owners, they're the ones who are really losing out, because it's estimated that the disabled population in this country, UK alone, could contribute to up to about £250 billion.
Yeah.
And
Listen,
thank you very much.
for
Thank
highlighting.
you.
We're so sorry that happened to you, but as you said, it started a conversation and it's got people thinking. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed that, there's more of the same right here. And make sure you subscribe so that you never miss the best moments from this morning.
What were the circumstances that led to the note?
So it was my ambulance. We were sent to a very unwell man who we found out now has sadly passed away. We were on scene for about less than half an hour, trying to stabilise him before we could take him to hospital. And we were straight out of his house into the ambulance, so they could all see us and how busy we were. And I believe there was a gentleman parked behind us who was trying to get onto his drive. Sadly, our ambulance was partially blocking the driveway. He, at some point, left us a note. We weren't made aware of this until we got to hospital, where our colleagues at the hospital then told us about the note.
Let me read this note. We could name him, but we're not going to. We've decided this morning we're not actually going to name him. He said, "You may be saving lives, but don't park your van in a stupid place and block my drive." And then this gentleman has apologised profusely. What I did was monstrous, but I'm not a monster. There's no justification for what I did. I'm deeply ashamed of my actions. I feel truly sorry and completely regret what I did. Is that enough?
Yeah, I think it's obviously he's said sorry. He's obviously aware of what he did was wrong, and he's trying to make amends for it. Would he have said sorry if it hadn't have gone so public?
Yeah, that's a very
question.
Situation. And of course, I mean, his point of, I know you're trying to save lives, but don't block the driveways. In your line of work, as unavoidable sometimes, you are mindful of other people, of course you are, but when it comes to saving a life, time is of the essence.
Yeah, sometimes we haven't got a choice. We don't actively go out to block someone in or block someone's drive. If we walk in and actually decide it's not too bad, we can move the ambulance, and we will, and we do every day. But sometimes we just can't help it.
7 months ago you qualified?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've been in the service for, is it 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
What made you both want to do this job?
I just love to be with other people, meeting different people, getting to help people in there when they need us.
And your grandfather was also, he drove ambulances, did he?
He did a similar job in the army, when he was obviously a lot younger.
What about you, Sasha?
So I wasn't unsure whether I wanted to be a midwife or a paramedic. I did a lot through St John ambulance, and it pushed me more towards the ambulance side of it. My granddad died of sepsis, and the paramedics that looked after him were amazing. So.
Well, that's a note is one thing. And it's deeply distressing. You're doing your job, you're attempting to save a man's life, and someone is stupid enough to put themselves forward because they can't get into their drive. But it's much, much more than that. And you have had physical injuries.
Yes.
How have you been hurt?
I've had my wrist broke by a patient.
How did that happen?
So we were in the back of the ambulance, and I was attempting to cannulate him. And as I attempted to put the needle in, he was aware of everything that was happening. He lashed out with his feet, and because I was bent over, I tried to protect my face with my wrist. He happened to be wearing steel toe cap boots.
Oh, God.
He got 14 months suspended sentence and 150 hours community service.
And it's just not just men either. You've also been hit by a girl.
Yeah, I've been hit round the face by a girl who had already been arrested for assaulting one of our other colleagues.
Yeah.
I've been spat at multiple times.
And she got community order and a fine.
Yes.
And Natasha, I mean, as we said there, you've only been doing the job for 7 months, but you've already been threatened as well.
Yeah, so I've been in the service for longer, just a paramedic for 7 months, but I've been spat at. The patient had hepatitis C, so obviously there was concerns over whether I'd contract anything. There's been endless verbal abuse, sexual comments as well.
And so you've been groped as well?
Yeah.
I mean, this is just two girls going to work, trying to get on with their life, trying to save other people's lives. Does it put you off the job that you've chosen? Because both of you got into this because almost like a calling in a way. You loved it, you wanted to do it. Does it ever make you think, do you know what, this just isn't worth it?
No.
No. The good side of our job, obviously, we get to help so many people and be a benefit to their life.
Yeah.
Definitely outweighs the bad side.
It must make you nervous, though, to go, especially given there's two girls together. Do you prefer it when there is a male paramedic? Because, I mean, you were saved by a male paramedic that managed to restrain the guy.
Sometimes being girls, obviously, it helps de-escalate situations.
Yeah.
Obviously, other times it doesn't. I do occasionally feel a lot safer when there's a man there. It feels like somebody's there watching your back.
This is yesterday. Paramedics were attacked as they helped a patient in Camberwell in South London. The ambulance workers were repeatedly pushed, threatened and verbally abused in a row over parking. They were said to be shaken, didn't suffer any serious injuries. The alleged attacker had been arrested. A total of 2,300 paramedics reported being attacked last year whilst on duty. That's 47% up from 5 years ago. Around 6 violent assaults take place on ambulance workers in Britain every day. This is a story you must hear from your work colleagues all the time.
Yeah. We walk into the crew room and it's a news story of who's been assaulted or who said what to
Do you know of people who've left the service because of this?
I don't know anybody personally, but I've heard stories about people who have been injured and not been able to return to work because of their injuries.
So you're hoping that the Assaults on Emergency Workers bill will come into force to offer you some sort of protection. How will that bill make a difference?
It gives the courts a lot more power to bring in more harsher sentences. There is powers there that they can use already, but I think it brings it to the forefront because it's an aggravating factor once this bill's passed, if it's passed.
Well, the new legislation would double the maximum sentence for common assault on a paramedic from 6 months to a year. And so, fingers crossed for you that it is begun to be taken seriously. Is that enough?
Obviously, we'd prefer it if there was less assaults, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. But it will give us more confidence when we do have to go to court that actually something might be done. Because at the moment, we've all got the attitude of the police will do their best, but once it gets past the police, we know it's not going to go very far. The person that spat at me got a longer suspended sentence than Amy's, and she got her wrist broken.
Yeah. Inconsistent.
Yeah, very.
Where we live is very rural, and he cycles on his bike to the village post office and leaves his bike there and then gets the bus to school. But when he didn't come back initially, I drove up to the post office. There was no sign of his bike. So I came home and we thought, well, perhaps he decided to cycle all the way into school, because not on a school day, but he had cycled down to Collerton before. But then when he still didn't appear, we started to get very, very anxious because it had never happened before. And
what sort of a boy is he?
Well, he is quite adventurous. We've always encouraged the children to be sort of independent and,
Well, his siblings had just come back from gap years. They've been travelling around the world.
Yes, and his older brother particularly has travelled quite extensively. We think actually he was quite anxious because his sister was just starting university this year, and he wasn't looking forward to being at home
on his own.
Yeah. With them both away. And he's at that age where, as a 15-year-old, he doesn't want to do everything with his parents, but he's quite happy to do things
and they're very
as
close.
a family.
He's very close with his siblings?
Well, there's a bit of an age gap, and his older brother has been away for a year already. And of course, his sister being 18 has a sort of active social life. So I wouldn't say they were close, but, we did
family holidays together.
And what about you guys just in the lead up to him going? Because we're going to read a letter in a moment that you received the next day from him. So this took planning. He was ingenious in his planning.
Yes.
But no hints, no rows, no concerns, nothing.
No, this was which is so kind of baffling for us, is we really didn't know. I mean, I did speak to him a bit over the summer because I was concerned that he wasn't socialising. And sort of, I talked to him about that, and he sort of led me to believe that he thought when he went back to school that, you know, he would, his friendships would improve. So, and, you know, we asked him whether he was unhappy at school, but he said that, you know, he was happy at school. He didn't appear to have any issues with it.
Did he spend a lot of time online?
Well, he spent quite a bit of time in his bedroom over the summer, which you know, and I used to go up there and sort of knock on the door and sort of find out what he was up to a little bit, because it worried me. But he was an avid reader, so he read a lot, and we did, you know, we talked quite openly about, you know, what he might have been doing online and that sort of thing, but he wasn't forthcoming. He really didn't want to share anything with us.
The letter that you received the next day shed a little bit of light on this. It said, "To Mum and Dad, I've run away because I'm bored of my life. Please don't try to find me or make me come home. I don't know how long I will be away for, but it won't be any longer than a year. You'll find my school uniform in a bin bag in a small barn in the field on the green down the road from Membry Church. My bike is chained to the fence. There is a spare key to the lock of the window. Please could you apologise to the restaurant and tell them that I will no longer be able to work there. I know you will be upset, but understand that I have to do this, from Arthur." The fact that he says in this letter that he will return in under a year, does that make it any easier?
It does. It implies that he intends to come back and do his A-levels in 2 years instead of the 3 that his school normally do.
Which is what his sisters and brother did. They did 2-year sixth forms. But
so I think, you know, in a way he's thinking of this as a gap year early or something. But clearly he's only 15. He's not spent much time in cities. He's had a fairly quiet life in the country.
He didn't take his passport. He only took £350 with him.
No mobile phone.
No mobile phone. He took almost nothing. I mean, this is the other thing that we find baffling, because he had done 10 tours and we'd done camping trips and things. And we thought, well, if he was heading off, he would have gone equipped. I mean, he didn't even have waterproof shoes on his feet. So
do you believe, looking at that evidence, that it looks like he knew where he was going? This wasn't a chance, I'm going to disappear in a puff of smoke. He knew where he was going?
Well, the problem is that there's absolutely no evidence. The police have been through his phone and they found no search history, nothing.
No CCTV?
No CCTV
We've looked at
footage.
hundreds of hours of camera footage in the local area, and there's been no sign of it.
That's odd in itself, isn't it? You'd think that was nearly impossible nowadays.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yes, I mean, it really is baffling.
And he took hair clippers as well, so there's every possibility, which is a strange thing to take, but there's every possibility he could then, have a shaved head, so he could look completely different.
Yes. We think that that was probably to try and make himself look older.
Well, you know, his friends haven't had any contact that you know of. You as a family haven't. No online presence whatsoever. What you do have now is a camera, and it's that one there. And what would you like to say to him if he's watching today?
Arthur, please, please, just make contact with us. We're just desperate to know you're safe. I just don't think you can possibly realise how agonising this has been for us.
If you don't want to ring home, there's a charity called Missing People, and the number is 116 000, and you can talk to them confidentially and they'll pass messages on to us. But better still, just come home or ring us and we'll pick you up from anywhere.
OK, all right, thank you. I hope you get an end to this pain very soon.
Thank you.
Oh, I always get emotional on things like that.
We do. 3 of the top proposal team join us now. Lily, Henry and Annette. Morning, everyone.
Good morning. This is great, isn't it? You've literally turned your jobs into a TV show. We was watching it last night. It was so good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Will You Marry Me? And it basically follows lots of different stories, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Lily, tell us a little bit about it.
So it follows basically the lives of what we do and what we love. we got 9 proposals of people, and it's so different. It's one extreme to the next. And it made us realise there is literally not a standard way to propose.
No, there isn't.
Some of the things I get asked, I'm like, really?
Give us some of those things. What do you get asked?
Like, we get asked... I got one who was obsessed. Their first date was at an ice cream parlour. I was like, cute, that's really sweet,
Lot to work with.
I love ice cream.
Yeah, fine. We couldn't... No, he wanted the ring in the ice cream.
Oh, in the ice cream?
Dug in.
Oh,
Is that a blatant health and safety no?
I said I don't think health and regulation's going to stand for that, but she loved it afterwards. I put it on her finger and I was like...
Did she?
I don't know how to
But it was freezing cold, weren't it?
It's a bit sticky.
A bit sticky, yeah.
And you've had a proposal for a footballer, Lily?
Yeah, we've done quite a few footballers. We had one that gave us 4 hours' notice.
No.
What?
Yeah.
Can you tell us who gave you 4 hours' notice?
Diego Dallet.
All right, Diego.
What's going on, Diego? Bit of forward planning, please. I want to do it now.
Yeah, there was forward planning. It was going to be... So he was coming down to London and it was going to be in the day after he had reached us. And we was like, that's fine. Sort it, leave it with us almost. And then he just texted us, didn't he? Like, what about tonight? Like, I'm here. And we was like... Okay. I'm obviously not going to say no.
And he had the ring on him and everything?
Yeah. When he had texted us, he was already on the train down.
Did you guys do Aaron Ramsdale's proposal?
Yeah.
I'm an Arsenal fan. We love Aaron.
I did. It was one of my first proposals I'd done when I started working.
You get all the footballers, don't you?
I
feel like you literally get them all.
On to the Lily. Lily.
You just get on with it.
How do you get into this industry? 'Cause
Yeah.
It's quite a unique industry it's quite niche, right?
Yeah.
So, and how did you get into it?
Well, I like to say I manifested the job. I heard about the proposers on TV 10 years ago, and since then I've done all sorts of different things. I baked cupcakes and I was a travel agent for a while, et cetera, et cetera. But when I got married, I thought it was time to go into event planning, and I remembered the proposers, so I reached out to Daisy, our founder, and the rest is history.
What was your proposal like when you got married? Is it a goodie? Or was it a bit dry?
I love this story.
Go on, Anna.
He did well.
Did he?
He did well. He took me to a Michelin star restaurant, and after that, he had our hotel bedroom decorated and everything, and it was very cute. And he wrote a speech that was just so lovely, so we were both on the floor crying.
That's so lovely.
Yeah, he's amazing.
One of the proposals that you organised, Nat, was actually in Santorini, wasn't it? And it involved a bit of a workout. Tell us about that.
So I do a lot of the destination proposals, and we get to travel pretty much everywhere on the job.
Yeah.
So wherever a client wants us to help him to pop the question, we are there. The Santorini proposal was definitely one of my favorite. It involved, the day started essentially with a workout on the beach. And then as they ran on the beach, they ran into a picnic setup that we created for them. They had a picnic, then horses came in.
Stop it.
The horses were a bit wild, but they still enjoyed their ride, and we had little signs.
It's beautiful, look at this.
I've got 2 questions. If you're involved in the destinations ones, in many ways, it looks glamorous and wonderful, but that must be harder because when you're local, you've got your set teams and people you know you can work with and people you can rely on. Well, when you travel far away, these are, I'm sure they're brilliant, but they're not necessarily, you don't know whether you can rely on that caterer or, because you don't have that
Quite
relationship with them. That must be quite
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
and
to
you'd be really hot.
Yeah.
really hot. Oh my God, that destination Santorini one. I mean, we were on the beach in the middle of the night setting up, and it was just sweat all over.
My second question is, I only just thought about this watching that, is how do you tell the person that's being proposed to that they're being filmed without them knowing they're going to be proposed to?
Yes, that's a good question.
Well, on the TV show, we came up with a bunch of ruses.
Yeah.
So from Kylie's proposal, which I loved her reaction, we told her that it's just an engagement party and the couple really wants to have different bits filmed beforehand. So then she got the shock of her life when it was for her. And for the Santorini one, she just thought it was the longest, best date ever because it started in the morning and it ended in a winery in Santorini, and we did hundreds and flowers, a mirror aisle, everything. So she just assumed...
So they just think there were cameras...
Yeah,
like,
for this incredible day or...
And Henry, you organised a fake proposal, didn't you?
I did, yeah. That was when I just started, actually, 3 years ago now, for the DJ Tom Zanetti.
Oh, all right.
So, not quite what I expected, but you were really chilled about it, weren't you? And then as soon as I found out, I was like, I'm doing this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I took it straight out of Anat's hands. And,
But
yeah,
it's still like it's a real proposal, isn't it?
Yes, it was for one of his music videos, so we literally set it up the same way as we do any other proposal, treated him like any other client. He got down on one knee, and yeah, you wouldn't have really known it was any different other than the fact that him and the girl weren't together. So.
How did you get into it, Henry? What's your background?
How did I get into it? So yeah, I sort of fell into it really about 3 years ago now, just before Christmas. I saw an ad on Instagram. Originally, it was only for 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, which is one of the busiest times of the year. So we're just going into that part of the year now. And yeah, just carried it on. Absolutely loved it. Daisy, our founder. Yeah, we got on really well, and she was like, "Do you want to sort of stay on the books?" And
nice. The lovely thing for Henry, like just reading in the brief, it says it's really brought you out of yourself because you've got to be quite an extrovert to do this, I suppose.
Yeah,
right?
and I never used to be. Like, if you'd have known me 10 years ago, this coming on a show like this today would have been my absolute worst nightmare. I would have come up with any excuse possible.
And now you're loving it.
And yeah, I've done about 130 proposals to date now. And yeah, you just have to get on with it. Like, it really brought me out of my shell. It allowed me to open up about my sexuality a few years ago as well, which was quite a big moment for me, as you can imagine. And yeah, so many things have happened throughout this 3-year period.
What has been the weirdest proposal that you've ever had, or the most expensive? Yeah, I want it all the juice.
She wants it all.
There's quite a few, isn't there?
The most expensive proposal we've done was just under £1 million.
Are you actually joking?
He's still drinking.
It's mad, isn't it?
What, they didn't say it for the wedding? That's
He
£1 million
wanted to
just for
go.
the proposal.
Imagine how much the wedding cost then.
Yeah.
Oh my God! What did that involve?
Well, the initial brief was to get their faces beamed on the Eiffel Tower. We made all the phone calls. We couldn't quite do that. So we ended up doing a beautiful after-hours show in Disneyland, and their faces were beamed there.
Wow.
And then it took them to a bunch of different places around the world, ending in Niagara Falls, where their faces were, of course, beamed there too.
You got 100.
Unbelievable.
That's insane. You got 100% success rate. Do you ever tell people no? Like, do you ever go like, you shouldn't be doing it, you shouldn't be wasting money like this? Or do you go, I mean, you can't, right? This is your business. So
no, they were like,
have we ever said
get the dollar, get the £1 million. We take a little cut. It's
Have you ever
hard,
actually
though,
said
isn't
no
it?
to anyone? I don't know.
No, I'd feel awful. I could never.
I mean, like you said, we've got 100% yes rating,
Yeah.
so we've clearly done the job right every single time. But
Well, that's my thing. I think if they're at the point where they're coming to us, you've got to know your partner.
You'd hope.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
Lily, Henry and Nat, thank you so much for joining us. You can check out Will You Marry Me on channel4.com right
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
So why? Why do you want to be this Peter Pan mum?
Well, nowadays I think we all live longer and we like to look better and fit with how we feel inside. I mean, I still don't think I'm as old as I am. I still think I'm 30, so I don't want to look 52.
Yes.
Why Jessica Rabbit?
Well, it was just a bit of a joke because my waist is nipped in and I've got big boobs and I've got the big pencilled eyebrows, so that was it. I just sort of got nicknamed Jessica Rabbit.
Well, these sort of nips and tucks don't come cheap, do they?
No.
We think somewhere in the region of about £80,000.
Yeah, that's right.
So how have you afforded that? Because you are you're a health and safety associate.
Yes, that's right.
So is it on credit?
Well, obviously I do that work and I do it online and I get good money for that, and then credit plays part of it.
So have you maxed out your credit cards? Okay,
Yeah,
so essentially you're in debt. It's put you in debt.
Yes.
Gosh, wow. And it's also put you in trouble health-wise as well, because all the surgery you've had, there have been moments where it's gone wrong.
Yeah, that's right. I had liposuction on my legs, and I was warned before the operation that there may be slight grooving. I wasn't prepared for massive grooving and ripples, and whereas my legs before were okay, now I won't even go to the water's edge on the beach without having a wrap around me.
Because you've been left with
these horrendous legs that I really need to have repaired.
So do you regret that now?
Totally. I think it was because I'd had my breast enlargement with the surgeon. He recommended his colleague, and because I'd been happy with the breast enlargement, I decided to go with his colleague. And I had it done under twilight and I was in agony. And then even the next day I could see there was something wrong with them. And the nurse had also told him to stop during the procedure.
So you believe that, and obviously we can't go into too much detail there because we don't have his side of the argument, but you believe that if there is a circumstance where a surgeon has behaved in a manner which would disappoint you, to put it mildly, there should be a naming and shaming.
Yes.
You should be able to name these people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can go onto Good Surgeon Guide and other sites like that and, you know, do a review of your surgeon. But I think it'd be better if you just had the plain list of all the names and shames, and it'd be easier.
The trouble is, though, when you have this sort of, you have as much as you've had, they will all say, if you have this sort of cosmetic surgery, it runs an element of risk. You put yourself at risk by having it.
Yes. And I did sign an agreement to that, but when you're told slight ripples and you've actually got huge indents, that's not a slight ripple. So I think if you're warned of certain things, but then it goes beyond it, then they should be held responsible.
But it hasn't stopped you wanting more.
No, no.
What are you going to have now?
Well, I'm going to have my legs repaired, and then I want something done with the bottom of my face. I don't know whether a neck lift or a lower facelift. And then I think I'm going to go for the designer vagina as well.
Wow, so you've got a whole shopping list here.
Yeah, definitely.
More credit, more debt. And what about your love life? Because you're a single lady, so but you have quite a specific type of guy that you go for, and that is much younger than you. What's your age limits?
Oh, well, sort of up to about 35.
Why? What do you get from the younger men?
I just prefer them. I've had a couple of relationships with guys a similar age to me or 5 years younger, and I found them to be an absolute nightmare. They've just been so horrible to me.
In what way?
Well, bullying and expecting me to do things, and with the younger guys it's easier. You can go out, you know, they go shopping with you, and I always have so much fun with them. Lots of laughs and giggles, whereas the older guys don't want to do that.
And are you looking for a lasting relationship, someone you can settle down with?
I don't know really. I quite like being single, you know, so just see how the one I'm in at the moment goes. But I can't see myself getting married or anything like that.
Well, you've got two sons, one's 17, I think one's 27.
Yeah, that's right.
And you date well within their sort of age range, don't you?
Sometimes,
18
yes.
plus. So what do they think about it?
They don't really talk about it to me. I don't think they essentially approve of it, but...
They've described it as uncomfortable, I think.
Yes. Yes, they're uncomfortable when the people are close to their age. And obviously I wouldn't see any of their friends either, anything like that. You've got to have some boundaries.
Are you addicted?
Probably, yeah, but I'm not doing any harm, and I don't drink, I don't smoke. I don't really spend money on very much, so this is what I like.
Is there a worry that that because you are constantly in search of the perfect you, outwardly, that you can't hold back time forever, that eventually your face will get frightening?
Yeah, probably, but when I think about, like, Joan Rivers, I mean, OK, her face was a bit pulled and nipped too much, but she was 80, wasn't she? Something like that. And if you can be 80 and have a face like that, I don't see what the problem is.
And as you say, not doing any harm to anybody.
No, exactly.
But you might be doing harm to yourself. I mean, this is always the worry, isn't it? That you go into any sort of surgery, you have got your 2 children, and that responsibility you have towards them, but yet that doesn't stop.
No, because I make sure I'm always really healthy before the surgery. I'll take vitamins and I'll take arnica for the bruising. So I'm fully prepared when I go in, and I've never had a problem with an anaesthetic before.
OK.
So...
Oh, good luck. Will you tell your
good
sons
luck.
when you go in for your next set of treatment?
I don't know, because usually I tell them afterwards, because otherwise they'll tell me not to. Yeah.
Okay, well, stay safe.
Yes,
Thank you very much
thank
indeed.
you. Thank you very much.
Hello, YouTube. For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
If you're injecting yourself every day with this human growth hormone, which is incredibly dangerous.
It can be incredibly dangerous.
So aren't you thinking about your children then?
I think, I mean, the media have obviously blown out huge stories yesterday. Mum of 3 injects Class C drugs. I don't smoke. I don't drink.
But you are a mum of 3.
I am a mum of 3, that's correct. I am injecting
drugs.
Class C drugs, that's correct.
Laura, you said you fell into this about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
How do you fall into it?
Just people asking me to go on dates and giving me gifts.
So have you made a career out of this?
Kind of, yeah. It's like I'm a businesswoman about it.
So your business is getting things bought for you?
Yeah, I do work.
As well as
this, yeah.
Okay. So in return for what? They buy you gifts. You do what for them?
For my time, basically.
And what happens in that time?
Just usually go for meals, things like that, holidays.
Sex?
Nope, never.
Never?
Never, no.
And do they know that before they lavish you with these presents?
No, they don't know that because I don't say that to them.
So you're
they're going to know now.
Well, yeah. No, it would probably attract them to me more.
So you are essentially sort of in the early stages of the relationship, leading them on.
Yeah.
And you are quite happy to say that that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And one man was going to buy you a £33,000 engagement ring.
Yeah.
Did he think that he was going to get engaged to you?
He thought that he would end up in a relationship with me, yeah.
And at what point did you tell him that that wasn't going to happen?
After I got me ring, I kind of cut all ties with him.
Do you not feel guilty?
No.
Why?
Because they would take off me if they could and not feel guilty about it. So.
But do you not think this? I mean, you're a beautiful girl. Do you not think that these men, you know, if this guy proposed to you, he'd obviously fallen in love with you?
No, he was a sleazebag. He couldn't have had me as a girlfriend.
So you do get the gifts valued to find out how much they think you're worth.
Yes, yeah.
And so you got the ring valued.
Yeah.
Which almost makes me smile now, having said what you said, but you thought it was £33,000. It was valued at only five and a half.
Which is still a lot of money for something.
What a cheapskate, eh?
Well, that's why I got rid of him.
Okay, so you're not doing anybody any harm.
No.
You know, you say they sort of know about it, sort of. You know what you're doing. You're not exchanging any sex for this. This is just the way you work your life. But you do have 2 children who are 11 and 13. Yeah. Are they aware of what Mummy does?
No, they're not aware. I mean, they know Mummy's single. You know, they want Mummy to go on dates, like they want me to find a partner.
Because they want the stuff afterwards, probably.
No, not. They're sick of me. Well, I'm sure after this comes out, they're going to know a bit more.
Do you worry about that?
No, because I've raised them. They know me. They know the way I work, you know.
But also, I mean, we say it, sit in judgment, but as far as an example to your kids are concerned, I mean, they will know that you were going out with a rich football manager who you then ditched for his richer friend. Because I just said it out loud.
OK, yeah, they will know. But they're not going to be... It's not going to faze my children.
What about, you know, this is your business, as you said, but it's a short-lived business. I mean, with all the goodwill in the world, looks fade, you know, these men are... It's a two-way street here. They want a young, beautiful thing. We'll get on to you saying young, beautiful things on your arm in a moment. But that you won't be a young, beautiful thing. You may be a beautiful, older thing, but that might not be what they're after.
I mean, I'm prepared for that. I didn't set out to do this. I'm not like a gold digger, as in I need to marry someone rich to succeed in life. Like, I have my own plans, I study, I work. So as long as it lasts, I'm going to have fun with it. And when it doesn't, I'm prepared.
Well, let's come to you, Mark, because this is a two-way street. You're aware that this is what these girls are doing, and yet you are happy to be part of this.
Yes.
Why?
I was married for 22 years. I came out of it and I wanted some fun.
But does it not make you feel a bit stupid?
No.
You're the brother of Lisa
mutual.
from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. You said you left your marriage after 22 years, and then you said to our researcher, "I like to have a pretty thing on my arm."
That's been rephrased slightly.
No, it hasn't, because I double checked. That is exactly what you said. I like to have a pretty thing on my arm.
OK.
And so, what do you say to that?
Yes.
And that's how you feel? Is that how you feel about women?
No.
How do you feel about women?
It makes me feel good to be out with a good-looking girl.
Mm. And so, what do you think you're going to get out of it?
Nothing, because other than company. You know, going out somewhere nice for dinner. I don't like the term sugar daddy. That's not what I am.
How much do you think you've spent on women of this sort of...
Probably about £57 in the last year.
And what about the year before?
Sorry?
What about the year before?
That's a lie.
A bit more.
A bit more? How much more?
£134 probably. It's not a lot.
So you're quite
Seriously.
tight, actually, really.
I'm very tight.
You said that's a lie.
It's got to be a lie. Didn't cost that much.
How much do you think he's spending?
He's got to spend thousands. You've definitely... I mean, we've spoke briefly. He's the type of guy that usually I would go on a date with.
Well, I've asked for
Because you can tell he's
I was going to say.
You have asked for her number.
I have, yeah.
OK, did you give...
I didn't, no.
You didn't? Why
She
didn't
will.
you give him your number?
Oh, she will.
You will. Yeah, you'll get it.
Talk about that.
But,
Are you being slightly put off by the fact he's only spent 54 quid in the last
yeah,
year?
definitely, yeah.
Isn't it? It's all a bit cheap and sordid, really, isn't it?
It's not about gifts. It's about the company and it's about two minds connecting. That's
It's
what
not for you,
To
though, is
to
it?
me, no.
Well, I think we're on the same page.
To me, I mean, I've met good friends out of it who still give me gifts and they're really good company and they're older than me, so I learn a lot from them. It's not always about the gifts when I know them.
Right.
Yeah, and, like, I get to go places and stuff, like, in the long run. But initially, yeah, it's going to be all about the gifts. I'm not free in my time.
You've got two grown sons, 22 and 19. What do they think about it? Are they worried about their dad?
The older one is completely dismissive about the whole thing. The younger one, I think, sees the funny side of it.
Right,
What about sort of friends and family?
Everybody's very encouraging. They're saying, go on, go out and live your life. Enjoy
Well, you're not
yourself.
hurting anyone, are you?
No.
And you're having a good time.
Exactly.
So good luck to you, in a way, I guess. And it
Thank you.
seems as it's a two-way street and you're happy to do it. I mean, watch this space.
For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
But to go for your 13th, say, you've said to us that you're addicted to having babies.
Yeah, I'm literally addicted to having babies.
Picking someone that you really, really like David, and then spending a lot of money to look like them, you've got to sort of have the bone structure, the bone structure to work on, because it's going to be very hard for you to look like him.
Like, obviously, I know I don't look like him, you know what I mean? I'm not that stupid, but I got a long way to go to get my goals to look like him.
How close do you reckon you're going to be able to get?
I don't know, but it's easily like another 30 grand, because it's gonna like cost some money, like operation to look like him.
Well, what have you had done so far then?
I've had cheek fillers, I've had filler in my chin there. What else? I've had my eyebrow HD lift. What else? I had my lips, my border. I've had my teeth done. I have tanning injections once a month I do, try and get his skin tone.
What was that, a tanning injection?
Yeah.
Do you not worry about all these sort of things that you're doing to yourself? You're a young lad, you know, that you're putting all these things into your body. Do you worry about how that's going to affect your health long term?
Yeah, I understand that, but if I'm doing something to make myself happy, and say in 40 years' time something happens to me, it's my own fault, and I know it is, but all I'm bothered about, as long as I stay happy.
Oh, and that's the most important thing, you know, if you're doing something and it's making you happy, then sort of fair enough. I mean, there are other aspects of paying for it, which we'll come to in just a moment. But David, of course, is a honed sportsman.
Yeah.
You know, what about the body?
The body, obviously, I'm not slim like him, I ain't got the six-pack, but I do want a gastric band.
And you've been to the doctors asking for a gastric band. And in your words, you said the doctors have kicked you out.
Yeah.
And for what reason?
Because I kept on going and they're saying you want a certain weight, you have to be higher, you know what I mean? And I was saying I really need this, you know what I mean? It will change my life. I had problems all my life with weight. And OK, I'm not just doing it to like get the quicker way to lose weight. I'm doing it. I've tried every diet in the book to lose weight. I've tried every exercise and I can't do it. So I need the gastric band to help me. But when I have that done, I need to still exercise and eat healthy.
Do you ever think about, because you sort of hear all these people that, you know, they feel very unhappy and they think it's the weight that's the reason they're unhappy, and then they lose the weight, and then eventually they look in the mirror and they suddenly realise that actually it hasn't changed anything, they're still unhappy underneath. Do you ever worry that after doing all of this, spending all this money, putting your health at risk, that actually maybe you should just work on you and learning to really love the person that you are now?
I know what you mean, but not really. I'm happy looking like David Beckham, being like David Beckham. I want his lifestyle.
That's an interesting thing to say as well, because David Beckham has earned the lifestyle that he lives because he is an international sportsman and has been at the absolute top of his game. How can you, because a lot of the meltdown on social media over the weekend was the fact that you're unemployed, you're spending your benefits on.
That's the thing, I just want to confirm, I ain't spent one bit of my money on my benefits. I've took out loans and I'm in debt.
But how are you going to pay that back?
Loans.
Yeah, you're £19,000 in debt, aren't you?
That's why I haven't paid for them on benefits,
Yeah.
so I can't.
So how are you going to pay that back? And if you said you still need £30,000 to continue this...
I don't know. I do not know.
Isn't that just going to make you sadder?
No.
The fact that you don't look like David Beckham and you're incredibly in debt.
No, I know I don't look like David Beckham at the minute, but at the moment I feel happy. I feel amazing about myself.
Yeah.
I'm in the best place ever I've been these past year.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that lifestyle, because, as I said, you know, we know why David Beckham lives the lifestyle that he does. You've said, I want to be on the friends list of Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, Drake and Katie Price. One day Simon Cowell will be picking up the phone to me.
Yeah.
What's your talent? How are you gonna earn that sort of lifestyle? What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I'll do anything, but I believe I know this sounds very big-headed and like cocky, if you know what I mean. But all my life I've already known I've been different. I ain't never fit in anywhere, go at school anywhere, and I believe I should be in TV or acting, or like yourself presenting something, because I never fit in anywhere.
So is that why you're struggling to find a job then? Because you're not happy to just take a job that comes along, you're holding out for something on screen or in the media in some way?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
But it's the thing people ask me a lot, ask us a lot.
Yeah.
You know, how do I get into it? What do I do? You can't get into this game just because you want to be famous.
I don't want just stuff chucked to me, you know what I mean?
You've got to be good at it.
I want to be good at it, I believe I can, but I want to work my absolutely butt off to get there, you know what I mean? I'm not one of them people where I just want stuff chucked at me. I want to honestly work my absolutely butt off to get my goal.
And my concern is that to pick up on what Holly was saying, is that you've set yourself such a massive goal, way off in the distance, that you're never going to get to that level of happiness until you love yourself.
I do love myself how I am now, you know what I mean? But I just want to look like David Beckham. Like, who don't, you know what I mean? Like, no one can say David Beckham is ugly or is not attractive, you know what I mean? Even people who's not a fan of him, they would say it, you know what I mean?
Well, look, what to say? I mean, it's not really saying good luck with it, you know, just look after you, I think, is all I want to leave you with today.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming in and
thank you for having me.
For more of the same, just click here, and don't forget you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
At 71 stone, if you reach your goal, how would you get to the food without help?
There's plenty of men who would love to be in Sid's position, so
I have people message me every day of just about, you're so lucky, you're so lucky.
How does this work? What are you doing?
All right. So, hi, I'm Scott. So what we're doing is we're practicing Tantra. And one of the key things that most people don't realize is that orgasm is different from the traditional release that comes from climax. And so when you're able to separate these things, instead of having the traditional trajectory where you kind of get excited and then climax and then go to sleep, you're able to have an experience where you can keep going and you can start having multiple experiences. And when you start doing this for hours at a time, it builds and builds and builds. And then when you decide to have a climax, you might come down to here, but you're in an orgasmic state that can then last for a long time. So then it'll start kind of going down again, so you can eat and, you know, play and then make love and bring it back up again and so forth. And you can stay in this state.
Okay, I get this from the woman's point of view, from Melanie's point of view. I've got my head around that one. From your point of view, because there is that ultimate moment, you're not doing that for 18 hours, are you? I mean, you'd be an empty shell.
No, but that's the thing. That's what you got to realize is there's two different things. So you can actually have a full body, completely ecstatic, blissful orgasm that's actually more powerful than anything you've done before without the traditional release and the drain of energy.
Okay.
Because it's against two separate things.
Go on, Melanie.
We practice Tantra, which helps us to
pull the sexual energy up our bodies and to re-energize ourselves. So actually, the longer we make love, the more energized we get, both of us.
She could be going to sleep at 10, and by dawn, we're like, wow.
Yeah, I can be sleepy at the beginning, and he like encourages me to keep going, and then I just keep getting more energized every time, and we can still be going by morning.
It works the same for guys. Guys can do the same thing that women can do.
Okay, can I just ask you, what does it feel like? I mean, does it feel the same as a normal orgasm that somebody may have, or is it a different feeling to that?
It's much more powerful and more intense, and it's a full body experience. Yeah. So, I mean, it might be like kind of crazy. You've seen like low-level experiences or low-level orgasms just from like hugging and kind of getting the process going, but it gets really crazy after
we've actually
hours.
got
I mean, you must drive your neighbours bonkers.
We are shocked that they have not called the cops on us yet.
I'm very surprised. Did you
not? A house with lots of privacy.
Are you not tempted? Have you never burst out laughing?
Huh?
Have you never just burst out laughing?
Oh yeah. The thing
do all
about
the time.
Tantra is we experience all of our emotions in lovemaking. So we laugh at ourselves, we cry, we rage, we do everything because that's what we're doing is in order to do this kind of thing, you have to be open and be connected with your emotions and your feelings and your channel so that you can feel the energy moving through your body. And that's what makes it kind of a spiritual practice as well as just an orgasmic one.
I giggle during lovemaking all the time. It totally is an orgasmic experience as well.
I mean, yes, clearly. There's something else that's very interesting here, is that you don't necessarily have to be together to make this work, because this is an energy exchange. Am I right in thinking you can be in separate rooms and do this?
Yeah. So, first of all, we can feel each other even when we're apart. And second of all, we can orgasm all by ourselves just through breathing and like feeling orgasm with God. So like just taking in the energy that surrounds us and just pulling it into our bodies.
Melanie,
and like
how
really
do you switch it off then? If you can just feel this energy from anywhere, what happens if you're like in a supermarket and suddenly you start getting this energy in? I mean, has it ever happened to you in an inappropriate place?
Well, first of all, I don't really feel like any place is inappropriate. Second of all, it's a conscious thing. Yeah. So Tantra teaches us to be conscious about it, so we get to choose to do it. Right. It doesn't happen to us, we choose it.
You can tone it down, or, so it could be a low-level vibration. Like, we could even be doing that now without, it being too crazy.
Sometimes.
Just a little bit. But then, and then we can rev it up. And yeah, if we're like at the really high intense states, then I'm not really functional, but it only gets that intense, about once a month because we can't schedule 12-hour, 18-hour experiences.
This has been one of my favourite interviews ever. Just gonna point that out. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
I'm not sure I've asked everything I need to know.
No, we've got thousands of things
I'll call you.
I've only got halfway through this. Thank you, guys.
Oh, so brilliant. Thank you.
Statichearts.com if you want to learn how to do it.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
Just write that down. Oh, right.
Still to come.
Oh my God.
Go to the break. Go to the break.
You're a female, young female, beautiful female. Is this affecting you? Is this going to change the way you're going to vote?
First of all, thank you, but no, it's definitely not affecting me at all. I mean, I've been in, we call it the cage, so like, because our weightlifting class is in a cage. So I've been in the cage with all men, and I mean, I've heard that kind of stuff directed at me. It is locker room talk. I've been the only female in strength training class before.
Yeah, but the people that you come into contact aren't running to be president of the United States. I mean, this is a man. We've seen his views now of women, the way he treats women, the way he talks about women. And as Holly said, you know, you representing that woman's vote. Your hashtag is Women for Trump. Surely, I mean, how far can he go? Can he say anything?
I mean, honestly, at this point, yeah, I think he could say anything because Trump supporters are so gung-ho Trump supporters. Like, we are not going to accept anything else. And also, like, it's not what's important in this election. It's not who's said mean things. It's the economy. It's the justice system. It's the Supreme Court. It's jobs.
Yeah, but none of which he said really anything substantive about. We don't really know anything. I mean, he's incredibly vague in the debates. You don't know what you're voting for.
Well, okay, so I mean, ISIS. We're not going to release our plan like Hillary Clinton did. I mean, Hillary put it online for everybody to see, including ISIS. I don't know why you tell your enemy how you're going to defeat them, but I just don't think that was a good leadership move. And he has said, I'm going to bomb the blank out of them. So we have some sort of policy there. But, and then economy, he's going to bring back jobs. I mean, he's made hundreds of thousands of jobs already, all over the world. So he's not racist either.
So we can obviously see the level of your politics there and why you're gonna vote for him. But let's get back to that principal issue. The principal issue of the comments that came out over the weekend. Would it bother you if there were a whole load more that came out? Does it matter to you that this man could be the president of the United States and views women in that way?
No, not at all. Because really, let's talk about Hillary, right? So, I mean, Hillary and Bill are the worst supporters of women ever. I mean, Hillary may play the woman card, but she can't because of what her husband has done. And
she does have the advantage of being a woman, though, doesn't she?
She has the advantage of being a woman, but it's also a disadvantage because men don't like females in power. It's just true. And females don't like females in general. Like,
really?
Females,
This is fantastic. This is enlightening.
Over here, I mean, in America, at least.
Okay, all right. It's fascinating, but it's a fascinating point of view.
Terrifying. I don't know if anyone else has that, Sierra. Do you find that?
That's absolutely the most extraordinary thing I've ever had. But I think there's a very interesting thing, and it goes back to what Piers said earlier. It's a similar thing to what we've had here in some ways with Nigel Farage, where there is an anti-politics thing going on. People would almost vote for anyone rather than somebody who looks and feels that they're part of the political establishment, which Hillary does.
Piers, let's just end on you now. Were you surprised what Audra had to say there?
Look, I think that you're dealing in Trump in a very unique political figure. He's not a politician. He doesn't speak or behave like one. He has, by his own admission, many faults. And the way that we interpret him here in this country is very, very different to the way he's been going down in places like Florida and Texas, where I recently spent some time filming, where the Trump train, I can tell you, is off and running and extremely big and vociferous. So the question really is, yes, we can all feel disgusted by what he says about various things, but it won't make any difference on election day. And all Trump has to do, and I believe this has been a strategy from the start, he just has to win in about 4 or 5 swing states, and he's concentrating on the white working-class male vote. And in some of the polls that came out from that debate last night, women thought Hillary Clinton won, men thought that Donald Trump won. And if he can persuade 10% more men in 5 states to come out and vote for him, and that's where he's putting all his attention, then Donald Trump can be president, whether people watching this programme like it or not.
For more of the same, just click here, and don't forget you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
What makes you think you're more qualified than Hillary then?
Well, because I'm rich. I'm very, very rich. I'm the smartest guy I know, and many, many people have told me I'm incredible. And I think that alone should make me president. You see, the thing is that you started off as friends. Didn't she come to your wedding? Well, you know what? I think that's a misnomer. She crashed the wedding, She drank a lot of the booze. She took 3 of the centerpieces, and she gave a horrible gift. A terrible, terrible. I don't need another set of steak knives. You know what I mean? I'm a billionaire. I don't need that. I need really good gifts. Piers, will this make any difference to America's gun laws?
Well, it might. I mean, look, how many times have I been on your show talking about this, never mind anything else, and each time the number of deaths seems to escalate, doesn't it? Now we have the worst ever mass shooting in a country which breaks that record every 6 months or so. You know, important to remember, in America yesterday, 90 other people will have been killed by guns, including 8 or 9 children. 8 or 9 children get killed by guns every day in America. 90 people get killed every day in America by guns. Why will this change? Well, because it's a conflation of 2 great things in America right now, 2 great fears. One, the gun violence epidemic, but secondly, the fear of homegrown radicalized Islamic terror. And they've come together. Was this guy a member of ISIS? I doubt it very much. Did he just want to have his moment of infamy and attach himself to something he thought was, you know, an appealing entity in terms of ISIS? Yes.
His wife had to be rescued from a violent marriage. This is a man she described as being mentally ill. He had been on a watch list by the FBI, yet he was still able to go in and buy semi-automatic weapons capable of shooting 700 rounds a minute.
Well, look, this guy had 3 interviews with the FBI. Why? Because his work colleagues had said he's making death threats against Jews, against all sorts of different people. He's affiliating himself with ISIS, with Islamic State, and so on. 3 times the FBI interviewed this guy. But he was able, 2 weeks ago, to walk into a gun store, perfectly legally, purchase an AR-15 assault rifle, purchase a handgun, and go and do what he did. But the reason I think it may be a tipping point in a certain degree is that I think many people who are pro-gun in America are actually more concerned about radicalized Islamic terror in their country. And this is a moment where the 2 have come together.
There was a guy on the news yesterday, I think he might have been from the NRA, but he was correcting the reporter who used the term machine gun. And his greatest concern was that the term machine gun was used rather than semi-automatic weapon.
Well, machine guns are banned in America. I mean, this is where it's ridiculous. You can't buy a howitzer and you can't buy a machine gun. There's already gun control. So when these gun nuts in America, as they always do, we've had them on your show and mine, when they come out and say, we don't have gun control, they do. There are 50 types of gun in America you're not allowed to have. Machine guns fire 600 to 1,000 rounds a minute. A semi-automatic AR-15 can fire up to 60, 80 rounds a minute. This guy only had to reload once to hit 100 people. And I've used an AR-15 for an experiment when I worked at CNN. Very light, very fast, very easy to use. These are machine guns by any popular definition, except they happen to be called semi-automatic. There was a clip of Barack Obama last week giving an interview, a town hall interview with an audience, in which he detailed a specific case where he'd been in the Situation Room a few days before, and he'd been told about an Islamic sympathizer, US citizen, living in America, who they knew was on websites and talking about ISIS and Islamic State in a very worrying way. He was on the no-fly list, which meant he couldn't fly. They could do that. The FBI can stop you flying if you're on that list. But Obama said, I have no power to stop this person buying guns because of the NRA, the National Rifle Association. Crazy. And then a week later, we have the exact scenario, not the same person, but the same scenario, and the guy kills 50 people. And this is where the NRA, to me, is such an invidious, awful terror group of their own, because they allow the enabling of these people. You know, where would this guy have got a machine gun like this in this country? It's incredibly difficult. You've got to make it more difficult for these people to get their hands on these killing machines.
Reading Donald Trump's tweet 17 hours ago, horrific incident in Florida, praying for all the victims and their families. When will this stop? When will we get tough, smart and vigilant? Well, you're a friend of his. What does he mean by that?
I've known him a long time, and he's been roundly vilified for saying he thinks there should be a short-term ban on Muslims coming into America until they, quote, figure out what's going on. Well, there'll be a lot of Americans waking up today who will have a lot more sympathy with what Donald Trump is saying in terms of the threat that he perceives the country is facing. And, you know, he's right about one thing. I didn't agree with him about the ban on Muslims. I think that's a ridiculous thing to suggest, but at least he has an idea. I don't see much coming out of President Obama or indeed Hillary Clinton. She's very anti-gun, which I applaud. But in terms of how to deal with this homegrown radicalized terror threat, which we have in this country, there will be people here who have maybe come back from Syria, who have attachment or allegiance to ISIS. We don't know where they are. What about just having a new law which says if you are interviewed by the FBI on suspicion with allegiance to ISIS or a fundamentalist or extremist group, then it flags up when you try and buy a damn gun. You know, it is a ridiculous situation.
Simple move.
I agree, but in the last 10 years, there have been 2,000 plus suspected terrorists who have been afforded access to purchasing weapons over in the United States. And until the NRA come to the table and all parties join up to obviously barring individuals from being able to access weapons, and as you say, if an individual's already shown some sympathies towards extremism suffice to be interviewed by law enforcement, then they should be on that list for the time being.
Well, my brief point would just be, we're all targets. You know, the gay community got targeted on this occasion, but they will go after anybody, ISIS, that doesn't fit their sick, twisted ideology. My advice to anyone about the London Pride, the gay march in London, is everybody come out and support them. Whether you're gay, straight, black, white, Islamic, whatever you want, if you are a peace-loving person that thinks you do not want your life to be dictated to by these barbaric, medieval monsters, then get out and march and support everybody, because we're all in this together.
Thank you very much.
For more of the same, just click here, and don't forget you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
Probably having to put my leg on every day, or like waking up and having to use crutches just to go to the bathroom or into kitchen. I think that's probably what I find hardest, because it's what's changed most, not being able to just jump out of bed and get on with day.
Two people who were aboard the Carnival Triumph, unfortunately now known as the Poop Cruise, were cruise director Jen Baxter and passenger Devon Marble. Good morning to you both. Very nice to see you.
Morning.
Jen, let's start with you first of all. How many people are on that cruise, by the way?
So we had about 3,500 guests on board and about 1,200 crew.
Right, and you've been cruising for years and years and years. You've done this a million times. You've been on the ocean forever. What happened that day when the fire first broke out?
Well, we were having a lovely cruise. It was the last day of the cruise. I'm in bed, 5:30 in the morning, sleeping away, and here's the announcement, Alpha Team, which is a code for crew. There's a fire on board. But, you know, it happens. You know, sometimes there could be a fire in a bin or smoke in the, you know, kitchens or something, you know, so you kind of go, whatever. So I'm thinking I'll just go up to the bridge, which was my job to go, and, you know, it'll be something small, and then I'll make an announcement and go back to bed. All the good. So when I went up to the bridge, as soon as I opened the door, I knew it was not just like a little situation. It was like there's people kind of around and like bells going on and like, you know, radios going off, and I was like, oh.
So then what happened? You lost power essentially to the entire ship.
Not straight away.
Okay.
We still had some power, so I was thinking, oh, they'll just,
it will be okay.
It'll be fine, right? All right, they'll put the fire out, we're good to go. And then, boom, the power went.
So having no power essentially means there's no aircon, like, how does it affect the boat?
Well, so the ship stops, so you're just floating. No air conditioning, like no, you can't cook any food, so like no kettles, no cup of tea.
The motor stops, you're just drifting, I'm guessing.
Toilets, everything, just drifting off, down.
So Jen, you're cruise director at this stage, so you're now working with the senior management of the ship to try and work out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Devin, you were a passenger. Tell us a little bit about... thank you for joining us. You were there over there in Ohio this morning. Tell us a little bit about the group that you were with and why you ended up on that cruise.
Oh, I was with my entire wife's extended family, and I was meeting them all for the first time, trying to make a good impression on my soon-to-be father-in-law.
Right, OK, so it was quite a pressurised environment, a lovely, fun environment, though, because I think the cruise had started, as Jen was saying, and you see the pictures, it looked like you were all having the most wonderful time, like you would on most cruises.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was the time of our life. We were playing giant chess. We were floating in hot tubs and just having a blast. And we were so excited to go to Cozumel. We ate until our bellies were full, delicious food. It was exactly what you expect from a cruise.
So what happened when what happened when it suddenly went wrong, Devin? How did you all start dealing with the emergence of the fact that the ship was drifting and there was suddenly no power on board?
Yeah, I think everyone, like the first 30 or 40 minutes, you're like, is the ship going to sink? What's going on? And as soon as you realize we're going to keep floating, you calm down a little bit, and then it's what's really happening here. And you start walking around and seeing smoke coming out of like the red fin thing that's, I guess, the exhaust. And you realize, oh, we're just floating. So we're just stuck. And then I don't think people realize how much the engine keeps the boat upright vertical, because suddenly everything's kind of crooked. And that was a real problem when the bathrooms stopped working. I don't think anyone expected that one either.
No. And that was, so let's come to Jen, because that was actually a real problem when you're all sitting around going, right, we have no plumbing because the majority of the toilets are electric. There's suction, isn't there?
Yeah.
Whose idea was the alternative options? And just describe them for us.
So we were sat round, going, we need to do something. We've got to do something because we don't know how long we're not going to have power for. And it was me that said it in kind of in joking, right? Well, we can go have a number one in the shower, easy enough, right? And I'm like, well, for the number two, we can do it in a red bag. And it makes sense. Even now, I look back and go, what else would you do?
Because the red bags were sort of biohazard bags. They were there for particularly toxic thick bits and pieces, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that your father-in-law there, Devin, with one of the bio bags?
Yes, it is. That is my now father-in-law. His name's Manny. He's wonderful.
So you did it.
He saved his bag, Jen.
So you did end up marrying his daughter. So the story actually does end well.
Yeah, we had a happy ending. We got 2 kids, and me and my father-in-law get along great. We are very close.
Well, you'd have to be, I'm guessing.
Nothing bonds you like the need to use a plastic bag if you've got to go to the toilet.
But, Jen, I don't understand.
Best friends now.
Why didn't the boats come out and kind of pull you back to shore? Why didn't that happen?
Well, they did.
Eventually.
They did eventually. Because we didn't know what was going on. So they put the fire out. So at that point, we're like, okay, we're all safe. We're going to be okay. We're just floating. So it was when they went to assess the damage that they went, oh, now we know. Like it kind of had burnt through all the wires, so there's not going to be no hope.
Right.
So that's when they said, well, we're going to send tugboats out.
Right.
But tugboats are really slow.
Yeah.
So it just takes forever for the boats to get there.
How long were you drifting, Jen, in the end?
In all, it was nearly 5 days.
5 days.
And what about the air conditioning? How about keeping morale up and things like that? What happened there? Well, because it was Mexico, so it's boiling hot too.
It was hot. The weather was really nice. So no air conditioning. So people were taking their mattresses outside and making tents out on the deck and sleeping on sun lounges. Crew as well were in the crew areas because it was just super hot inside and kind of musty and stagnant. And once we realised that it was going to be a long time till the tugboats came, I'm like, we've got to keep these people entertained.
So
have some fun, right?
What did you do?
So, I got all the dancers and the musicians and everybody, and we did normal stuff. We had trivias going on and dance classes and quizzes, and the comedians were there. They did comedy because we got a little bit of power as we went on. Right. We were kind of getting bits going. So comedians on. We actually did a crew talent show, which was amazing. And one of the guys played guitar, and he had been one of the firefighters.
Wow. And Devin, was this enough distraction for you? They also opened the bar, didn't they, at one stage or another? There was a free bar.
They did open up the bar. I think it was enough of a distraction for a little bit at a time. But as soon as your body tells you that it's time to go to the restroom, you really have to deal with a real problem. So I really appreciate the crew. I think they did a phenomenal job because they were in it with us. We were all in it together.
But what I love in the documentary, you were quite ingenious, though, Devin, because you refused to believe there wasn't a toilet somewhere on the ship that worked, and you found a secret loo somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know if it's because the ship would like tip and all of the fluid would just go one way, and so then maybe a toilet worked, but I did find one. I did not have to use a red bag.
So you didn't.
Wow.
Jen, did you end up having to use a red bag?
Yes.
Wow.
You know, you gotta go, Ben.
Yes.
And then when the tugboats attached and started pulling you back, when they finally got there, the ship tipped too.
Well, it was listing quite the whole time. Like, if you've been on a ship, you know that.
Yes.
Like, with the wind, blah, blah, it happens. But because we couldn't use the ballast to keep it, you know, stable.
Steady.
So it was listing, which you're not in any danger, but it's just... Oh, it's strange to be listening, and because the wind was blowing the ship as well.
Well, Carnival Cruise have a right of reply. A thorough investigation following the incident revealed a design vulnerability, which was corrected and led Carnival Cruise Line to invest more than $500 million in support of our commitment to robust safety standards. We are proud of the fact that since 2013, over 53 million guests have enjoyed safe and memorable vacations with us.
And you worked with them for another 10 years, had an amazing time?
Yeah, I loved it. It was like
And
the
still do.
best. Absolutely loved it, yeah.
And Devon, you got a river cruise, maybe not on the high seas, is that right?
Yeah, maybe a river cruise.
Thank you
That
for
sounds
visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.